Full disclosure, this update is going to be filled with a lot of complaining and a lot of possibly TMI, but I feel like we're all women. We should all be women watching a pregnancy update. So if it's too much for you, then sorry. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another pregnancy update. So I am in pain. I'm gonna jump right into it. If you're new here, welcome. I am currently 30 weeks, 6 days. I will be 31 weeks tomorrow. So starting off with 29 weeks. My appointments are every 2 weeks now. So my last appointment was actually yesterday, which I'll touch base on once I get to 30 weeks. So 29 weeks, I carry the majority of my weight in my belly. Like I just feel the weight just pulling me forward. So once I hit 29 weeks, everything just got really tough. It's been a very emotional 2 weeks so far. For that reason, I don't like anything around my belly. I like loose fitting clothes, I like dresses, and pretty much that's it. I don't like wearing underwear, I don't like wearing shorts, I don't like wearing pants, leggings, nothing. Obviously, I wear them when I have to go to my appointments or if I have to go out, but normally you'll find me just in a dress, and that's pretty much it. On June 5th, I bent down to get Aaliyah a diaper, and I had some like off whitish liquid drip from out of me. Now, I've never experienced my water just spontaneously breaking. My water usually breaks like during labor. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what it looks like. So I had that, liquid drip out of me, and I just so happened to see it because I was bending over. So I did call the OBGYN office, and they just told me that more than likely it's just discharge. They did tell me to be on the lookout for like clear liquid and like a puddle of it, or just clear liquid in general. And then on the 7th, it happened again. I was going to get into bed and the liquid, dripped down. And I didn't call the nurse's line then because it was the same color as when it happened on the 5th. So I was like a little bit more relaxed. I hadn't been having contractions, have been having a lot of Braxton Hicks contractions, but that was something that was weird for me because that's never happened to me before. And you would think, okay, well, girl, put on some underwear, but guys, you have no idea. I cannot with underwear. So it is what it is. And normally my dresses are long enough to where, they're covering my butt. I'm not sitting on things like just out there. I feel lots of pressure down there, the bottom of my belly, vagina area, just pressure, and it's just getting really hard for me to walk, especially up 3 flights of steps, so it's super uncomfortable. My birthing ball that I got is constantly giving me relief. That is the only place I can go and get relief like immediately, is me sitting on the birthing ball. The minute I get up, or the minute I stop, or the minute I go and try to sit on the couch, just all the pressure and heaviness comes back. My feet and my ankles are constantly swollen pretty much every night throughout the whole 29 weeks. Every night my feet and ankles are swollen, and I wasn't doing a lot, so it's not like I was out there just up and walking around. I try not to do too much. Obviously I have to take care of my children when babe works, but yeah, they're always swollen by the end of the night. Let's see what else. Nesting also has kicked back in. We put together one of the cribs that the boys will be sharing until they grow out of the DACA tots, and then we have another crib, or we're gonna get the same exact crib for them. And then I also like put my Alextra, I bought Alextra, put that together. Just been cleaning up, decluttering, getting rid of like pretty much Aaliyah's clothes that don't fit her anymore, because we not having no more girls around here, so I can just get rid of it. And that's just what I've been doing, trying to make space, visualizing where the second crib is gonna go, how we're gonna set anything up. I also have, for the first time ever, the boys' hospital bag, which is like a miniature diaper bag. Their bag is ready and set, their hospital bag. I am still waiting on a few things for my hospital bag, but for the most part, I can, with everything that's in there now and just throwing like my charger and phone in there, it's good to go if I were to spontaneously go into labor. So that's always good. I wanted to be ready by 30 weeks, and I am 30 weeks. Oh my gosh, this week I had layers of dead skin coming off of me. Like at first I was like, oh my god, is this dirt? But no, because I've been showering pretty much 2 times a day, just because that's the second place where I get some kind of relief. So I was able to get a sugar scrub, and oh my goodness, like layers upon layers of dead skin. My skin does definitely feel a lot smoother, but it's crazy the amount of dead skin, how dry my skin is. I've never had dry skin before, never. I'm an oily mess, and my skin, my face, like just my scalp, everything is dry. The main areas that the skin was coming off from is like all the areas that have become super dark. I say this every time, I don't know if you guys can tell with the lighting, but my neck, so much was coming up, my belly, like my butt, so much dead skin. My skin has still been also super itchy, my belly especially. I'm pretty sure that I caused myself to get more stretch marks, but I mean, I can't help it. Aquaphor, I've tried everything for the itching of my belly, and nothing has been working, nothing, except for scratching. So that's what I do. Did I mention I've been getting a lot of Braxton Hicks this week? I feel like I did. Pretty sure I did. Some are pretty long and some are short. I guess it just depends, guys. Don't mind me touching myself all over, because again, I'm itchy. I'm trying not to scratch, but yeah, I'm like touching it, yeah. The boys are very active still up until this point, and pretty much the movement's hurt now. So it went from, that whole, oh, and oh my God, look, to ow, ow, ow. So the main thing that I discovered this week was that I'm no longer switching practices. So the practice I was switching to recently changed the way they do things, and whoever's on call is whoever is going to deliver your child. Same with the place that I go to now, so there's no point in me switching. Although the hospital is closer to home, there's just at this point no point in me switching just because of that. But I will get into something else during 30 weeks, which is pretty much now, because that's like all that went on for 29 weeks. So getting into 30 weeks, freaking heartburn galore. Like not only at night, but throughout the day. And not even like I ate something. Sometimes I wake up with heartburn in the morning and I haven't even eaten anything yet. Sometimes it lasts for an hour or two, even with me taking the Tums. I've just been having a lot of heartburn, and I have never experienced heartburn throughout the day before. Here and there I would get heartburn in my other pregnancies, but nothing to where I'm almost done with the bottle of Tums that I have and I need to go buy another one. Something else is, this has actually been going on, but I just kept forgetting to tell you guys, freaking drooling. I have been drooling so much, and I don't drool, I don't snore, but lately, oh my goodness, probably because in the beginning of my pregnancy I did have like excess saliva. Literally I could fill up a Gatorade bottle with saliva, extra saliva that I had. It was disgusting. I was always spitting, so much moisture. It was horrible. The saliva cut down, but whenever I go to sleep, I'm drooling, and I'm talking about like drool on my arm after I wake up, the side of my face, like craziness, just a whole bunch of drool. Speaking of nighttime, getting up from the laying down position is super exhausting and painful. I have to like roll, sit up and push myself out. Like, it's just so crazy. It just takes a lot out of you. And I'm getting up 4, 5, 6 times a night to pee, regardless of when I stop drinking water. I had to use my asthma pump 30 weeks. I've used it twice now during this week, whereas I haven't really had to use it. No, 3 times, because I had to use it today. So like every other day, almost every other day this week, I had to use my asthma pump. I constantly feel like someone is sitting on my chest, and it's hard for me to catch my breath. So when you go to the doctor and they're asking you, oh, do you have shortness of breath? And I'm always just look at them like, do you hear me breathing right now? I can barely catch my breath right now. It's like, of course I have shortness of breath. I'm freaking 30 weeks pregnant with twins. Yeah, idiots. Back to nighttime. Sleeping this week has been non-existent. I have not been sleeping at all. I cannot find a position that I am comfortable in. The pregnancy pillow that I bought it doesn't work. Actually, that's the only piece that I use from it, and I use that in between my legs so that my knees are not touching. I use one of the regular pillows for my belly, and most of the time I'm not even on it. Even when I do finally fall asleep, I have to pee, or my legs get numb and I have to turn over, and that's like a mission in itself. So, and I refuse to take any type of sleeping pills, in case you were like wondering. I've been having pelvic pain, hip pain. Hip pain is probably from like 28 weeks as well. I told you guys that my hips were going numb, so that hasn't stopped. And like I said, that constantly makes me flip-flop from turning over. I've just been in a lot of pain these last 2 weeks, like just so much pain. I can't even describe the pain because I've never gone through this. The pelvic pain that I had with Aaliyah is nothing compared to the pelvic pain that I'm having now. Look, my belly is itching. My vagina, I guess not the inside, the outer parts of my vagina seems to be swollen. I was able to, get in there, get a trim, and I was able to take a mirror with a light and look, and it just looks swollen. It looks bigger than what it has ever looked. So I did mention that to the doctor, which I think leads me into my appointment yesterday, on Monday. So my blood pressure was 129/61. My pulse rate was 113, and I got dizzy at that appointment from walking from the waiting room to the check-in, like where you weigh yourself, and then from there to the room. I was so out of breath, and I don't know what it was, but I just got really dizzy. I'm wearing a mask. And I do have a history of syncope, So that dizziness felt like my syncope coming on, which was really scary, because you don't know if you're gonna actually pass out. But when you have the feeling and it comes about, like, I've learned to, hurry up and put my feet up, grab a banana. I didn't have any of those things, and I was just out of breath as well. So I was able to internally calm myself down, inhale, exhale, and I was okay. The baby's heartbeats were fine. She didn't tell me how much I was measuring, and that appointment is where I just got really pissed off. So I explained to the doctor that I have been having some irritation down there in my vagina area, and that's what made me look to see what was going on, if there was anything, see, did I have maybe a yeast infection, don't, anything going on. And some weeks ago, they told me that I did have dry skin down there, to put Aquaphor, but I have been using the Aquaphor and it has not been working. So a student had came into the room, which I have a whole other opinion on, and I had to explain to the student, everything that I was feeling. And she told me, she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna talk to the doctor, we're probably gonna examine you, blah, 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 blah. Well, the doctor comes in, and she happens to be the last doctor that I saw. She had examined me just to make sure I didn't have a yeast infection, which she said I didn't. They sent that out for a culture, came back negative, no yeast infection, no infection at all. There was nothing. So I told her that the irritation was getting worse. Aquaphor wasn't helping. Antifungal, the cream that you use over the counter if you do have a yeast infection, that wasn't working, because I was using it on the outside. I read that may help. So she's like, yeah, that's really strange. I don't know why it's not helping. She's like, try KY jelly. And I'm like, isn't that the stuff you use to have sex? She's like, yeah, well, it's dry skin. But when I looked, I'm like, my skin, nothing looked dry at the time. It didn't look like dry skin like the other dry skin patches. So I'm just like, okay, it's not that. Mind you, I've been in the office for 2 hours now. My appointment's at 9:15. I'm talking to her at 10:30. 11:30. So I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. That just really got under my skin, just because I explained this to, the student, which I'm used to in New York, for the doctor to come in and ask, listen, this is a teaching hospital. Can the student come in and observe and ask you some questions? And if I say no, it's fine, because I'm not saying no in front of the student. No, it's the student who comes in and asks, and I can be really rude. I can be very blunt and honest and not even think before I speak. It'll just come blurting out. But I feel like when I'm at the doctor's or I'm out at appointments, I turn into my professional customer service mode. So I never want to come off rude or anything, but enough is enough. I've already told them, listen, I don't want to see any more students. I don't want them in the room. I don't want them asking me questions. I don't come here to be here for 2 hours. This appointment should have been quick. I only had a 30-week appointment. It's not like I had a sono. Enough is enough. And then they want to look at all of your medical records. They want to ask you about things that have who cares? It's not important. So it was just I was completely done at the end of that appointment, which is why I didn't say can you look at my vagina? The fact that I even had to tell her, I would have to tell her, you need to look, says something about the practice to me. I'm sorry. And I just, as much as I want to switch, there's just really no point now, because I feel like anywhere else I go, it's gonna be worse, because they're rushing to figure out everything, you know, to come up to par with my medical records and the pregnancy, and I'm almost there. It's not like any of these people are going to be delivering the babies anyway. She did ask me if I had been checked yet, which I don't know if they're gonna check me next time. I hope not, because I feel like, you know, it's still really early, so there's no need to check me. Like I said, I've just been having Braxton Hicks, so I mean, I don't see anything medically necessary for you to check me. I don't know, but yeah, that is pretty much the ending of 30 weeks. Was Monday's appointment. My next appointment is on the 29th. I have a sonogram, and then it'll be what? I'll be 33 weeks, I believe, something like that, 33. So yeah, we'll see how that one goes. Hopefully I don't see the same lady again. Maybe it'll be another lady doctor, so that she can, you know, if I'm still having all this vaginal discomfort, she can look. But yeah, gonna go ahead and show you guys my belly now. All right, so here's my belly with my shirt up, down. The front, from the right side, and from the left side. This is from one of the hauls, the haul that I just did, my maternity haul. And don't mind the dirtiness. It's the end of the day. Did not feel like changing my shirt for the video. Alright, so here is my belly from the front with my shirt up. Right side. So you guys see all that weight here? Can you see it? Because I can see it and I feel it. I just want to go like this, fall over. Just kidding, kinda. And here's the belly from the left side. Sorry about the bad angles. Room's a mess. Alright, so that's gonna be it for these 2 weeks for this pregnancy update. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you can feel my frustration. I hope you can feel for me, okay? Yeah, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.